Hello everyone, this is Eagle Owl 3. I'm entitling this video Important Things to Have During a Zombie Apocalypse. I want to start by saying that whenever people say like a zombie apocalypse, 90% of the people that say that don't really think like TV style zombies are going to like come out and start eating everyone. It's just more like symbolism. They basically, what they really mean is what to do in case of like some kind of like major situation. Like a situation where pretty much everyone you know, everyone in your neighborhood or town or city, a situation where everyone is affected in a major way, like not just some really small isolated event. So just to clarify that, it's not like I'm a nerd that thinks that actual zombies are going to start running around. It's just a catchphrase meaning what to do in a major emergency. On this video, I'm going to focus on some of the main things to have, and then later I may make a video like going into lots of detail on lots of more specific items. But just for fun, I would like to do some of the common things that maybe the average Joe wouldn't think about. And I kind of like zombie movies and stuff like that, and since some of my videos are talking about, you know, being prepared and security and things like that, I just thought it would kind of be fun. So one of the first, to me, one of the first things that are important to have during a zombie apocalypse emergency is I would say firearms or some form of serious protection. Not everyone likes or can access firearms, but if you can't have that, you need something. Crossbow, large knife, something. And the reason I make that like a number one priority is because if you're in a situation where most people in your entire town or city or whatever are extremely desperate, all the other things that you have on the list aren't going to matter if people can just walk right up to you and injure you, kill you, or take everything you have. So none of that matters without the means to keep that stuff protected and to keep your family protected. So I would say firearms and a good supply of ammunition. One box of ammo, I don't think that's a good idea. Also, I might do another detail video in the future about firearms themselves in an emergency, but that'll be at a later date. Another thing is different bladed items and tools. By bladed items, I mean different kinds of knives for different purposes. Maybe an axe for cutting wood, maybe like a machete style. Different knives and blades can serve many purposes, utility purposes, and they can also help you defend yourself without worrying like you do with firearms about, you know, running out of ammunition or anything like that. So different types of blades and tools that are bladed, and also actual tools themselves. You need to be able to fix things, repair things, and alter things. So that's another big one. Obviously, water and food are at the very, very top. If you wait for a local or national emergency to happen and you decide, like 90% of the sheep out there, well, I'm going to go to the local Walmart or Marsh because I'm going to need to stock up on food and water. Most likely, by the time you get there, everything's going to be empty on the shelves, except for a few random items that nobody would ever want. And plus it would also be a dangerous place too, because you're going to be surrounded by people who are all extremely desperate just like you are, and not all those people have noble intentions. So food and water is a big item. The water is more important than food. Stocking up on food is definitely a good idea before an emergency happens, and concentrate mostly on food that can last a long time, between months to years. and that does not need refrigerated. Um, the first couple days you can go with whatever's already in your fridge, and the power may be out, so that may be the very first thing you have to eat. Um, as far as water goes, there's two aspects. There's just keeping a large supply of water, like purchasing water, and another aspect is having a method to filter and purify water. That way you don't have to keep relying on buying more and more water, or how much space a bunch of pre-bought water takes up. Having the ability to purify and filter water, I think, is a very valuable option also. Another thing is methods of fire starting, things that assist you in starting a fire. There's all different methods. I don't want to make the video last forever, so you can look it up. But most people think you just set a log outside and you take a match or lighter and you touch the log and instant fire, but it doesn't go that easy. It's easy to make a fire begin. It's not easy for it to stay going. A lot of times they'll go out in 5 minutes. So different methods of starting a fire and getting a fire really going, and that can serve a few different purposes. One, heat. Not that you're going to make a fire right in the middle of your house or nothing, but one is heat. Another is a method to cook food. You can use fire to burn things that are contaminated if necessary, so that's a thing. Communication. Obviously the big thing, everyone has a cell phone, so that's a form of communication. But downloading an app where you can listen to the local emergency services, police and emergency management services, or even what's going on in local airports or whatever, I think is a good idea. Other than the cell phone, shortwave radio is a good option also, but you need a way to listen in on what is going on around you. Don't just assume that, like, just turning on your TV and you're all good. A common emergency that could take place is where power is lost, so you got to keep that in mind. Backup source of light, backup source of power, and more than one kind. What I mean is, backup source of light, don't make your only backup source of light a flashlight with 2 batteries in it. Have different backup forms of light. And it's also a good idea, like, when it comes to battery operated items, don't purchase battery operated items that are like, don't carry 6 different types of batteries. Try to focus on like maybe 2 common sized batteries and get all your items in those options to keep it simplified. Like a lot of items that run on AA's, and then maybe on bigger power items, a few items that run on D or something like that. So backup lighting, flashlight, something you can carry with you, preferably like a LED, not an old school flashlight, because the bulb will break easy and burn out, and it's not as bright and it's not as efficient. Maybe like LED lantern style, 2 or 3 for your house. If power's out, you can keep one in a couple different rooms. You can see what you're doing. Great idea. I mean, there's always candles as an option too. They don't provide much light, just barely enough to see what you're doing. Backup power. Backup power can be a propane attached to. There's propane methods. There's a gas generator. But you don't want to burn through a whole bunch of gas, which is expensive and weighs a lot and takes a lot of space, running a few items in your house. But it's still something to consider for something more important when you need a good amount of power for an emergency. So a backup generator is a good idea. They have what's battery powered. They're basically called solar generators, which basically all it means is it's got a big battery inside of it, and it can be recharged through solar method. And then you just focus on only running the things you need to, a couple key items. So backup light, backup power, and consider solar methods of recharging those items. Let's see what else. First aid. If there's a major emergency, and that emergency is intense enough, you can't always just go to the local hospital in a safe manner and tell a doctor to fix you up. So you have to consider that. If things are too dangerous, you may have to do some first aid on your own at home. And you can get first aid kits as simple as like a $10, $20 item from Walmart. Or you could go, they have like military surplus first aid kits that are anywhere from like 50, 60 bucks all the way up to, you can get $500, $600 kits that got everything you can imagine in them. So first aid, that's a good thing to have. Then I'll go into a little more specific items here, but later I'm going to make a video on highly specific items. But rope, I think, is extremely beneficial. Rope can be used to help you with so many things. Use your imagination. It can help a person make a shelter. It can help you hold stuff together, repair things. You can light a small stretch of rope to get a fire started, but rope is just very helpful. And high quality tape, like a high quality duct tape, is amazingly beneficial also. You can do temporary quick repairs on so many things with just duct tape, whereas if you were doing it the official way during a non-emergency, you might need 3 or 4 different power tools or specific materials from a lumber store. Whereas with just high quality duct tape, you can fix so many things, like the list goes on and on and on. The other thing is you might need to consider a lot of backup items for hygiene, meaning bathroom and cleaning supplies, and for like when you go to the bathroom, and methods to dispose of it. With power's out, that can affect other things too, and you may have a issue with the backup of unwanted supplies in your bathroom. So just keeping that in mind. Extra hygiene method, maybe an extra method to go to the bathroom, and a way to dispose of it. So without making the video too long, those are some things to have in a zombie apocalypse, aka major emergency. This is Eagle Owl, and I've got more videos to come soon. Thanks for watching.